Hello, this is your host, Jamal Baraka, for GT Media Reviews. This evening, we will be reviewing Naomi #1, the newest DC Comics superhero. It's a girl of color from Oregon. Okay, all jokes and weird voice aside, we'll be reviewing this comic. This is Naomi #1. This one's by Michael Bendis, the legend, and Jamal Campbell, up-and-coming artist. I've seen him around town, and he's pretty good. And this is a curious comic, okay? Because Naomi doesn't really have a connection to anything that I've ever seen in DC or comics in general. She's the closest thing I could compare her to, and this is probably unfair, is that I can compare her to Riri Williams at Marvel. And just for all total transparency, I wasn't a fan of Riri. I feel like she kind of got shoehorned in to being Iron Man or Ironheart or whatever the hell they're calling her right now, but the character never resonated with me because it seemed like she was just thrown in there because we needed another Iron Man and we were just replacing superheroes at the time. So with Naomi, I didn't have much to go on other than name and cover. And then there was this cringy article that said she's black and she's from Oregon. And immediately I thought, like, damn, man, it's gonna be another one of these books, like one of these woke comics where people just feel automatically just think just because you're black, I'm supposed to be interested in it. And it's so cringy in 2019, in my opinion. I hate seeing articles like that, and I'm like, I'm not gonna click it. So I was on the fence already, but the cover won me over because the cover is genuinely nice. And I was like, you know what? I got a light pull week. What the hell? So right out of the gate, the book is gorgeous, okay? So Jamal does work on Boom Studios' Power Rangers. I don't remember him doing any of the interiors, but I know his covers are dope. If you ever read Power Rangers from Boom Studios in the past couple years, Jamal has done work, and he's doing Beyond the Grid covers, and this new Power Ranger they have in there, it's like, just by God, man, these covers are so sweet. But the work that he does on that book pale in comparison to what he's doing on this book. So I'm reading this book and I'm like, wow, this may be the most natural depiction of an African American woman, girl, like a normal black girl. So I was like, whoa, we don't have this weird, woke thing they have going on. So the whole book is like that. The line work and colors, the colorist is Jamal. He did the colors and the art, and everything in the book looks just nice. And it's probably one of the best looking DC comics I've read in a while. That's no exaggeration. If you've made it this far, we're gonna get into the book's plot and spoilers. Okay, so the book is billed as being DC's biggest mystery. I'm not sure how far the rabbit hole will go and how many characters will get tangled up in this, but Naomi is a character from a small town. She's from Oregon. At the section of Oregon she lives in, nothing ever happens there. So I've never been to Oregon, so I'm not sure how true this is, but I don't know. I'm assuming that Bendis knows his stuff or has done his research. The big focus of the issue is that Superman shows up in town fighting Mongol for about 17 seconds. Everybody that's at the scene of it is like awestruck because Superman nothing ever happens. So Naomi misses that. But when she goes to look the story up afterward, there's no discussion about the event. So then the next day while she's at work, Superman shows back up and she misses that too. So she's upset about it and she goes to meet with her therapist. And it turns out the therapist believes that Naomi may be obsessed with Superman because both of them were adopted. So while meeting with her friends later, it's mentioned that something may have happened down in the past with superheroes involved, but nobody wants to discuss it. Naomi decides that she wants to talk, find somebody, and she looks for people that may know something. So she talks to a local mechanic, and he's reluctant to tell her anything, but as she walks off, he gives her a date of March 14th, and that the last thing that happened was the day she was adopted, or her birthday. So that's the gist of the issue. I get the impression that Naomi is she's observant, and she is intelligent. I wouldn't say she's like genius level like Riri Williams or Shuri or anything like that, but she seems very intelligent and observant. And I get the vibe of maybe this may be something like a PG-13 or even a PG version of Jessica Jones. Might be a stretch, but that's the impression I'm getting right now. This is off to a great start. I love the character. I love the setting. And I like that everything seems perfectly normal until it doesn't. And I kind of feel like whatever the event is that happened in the past probably should have been revealed in this issue. There's a trend in comics to load the first issue up with details, and then when it's time for a payoff, the comic just ends. And this pisses me off because I'm like, okay, as a first issue, especially for new characters, you should know what the hell you're getting into when you buy these books. It's like, okay, well, why does this book exist? And for a book like Naomi, since it has no connections to anything, it's not even connected to you like a crossover or offshoot or something like that, you should know why the book exists. So now I have to go into another issue that will probably give some more information about maybe her parents or something like that. But I feel like that should have been this issue. And if DC wanted to add another $1 to the cover price just for like 5 or 6 more pages to say, hey, this is what's going on with Naomi, I think that the book would have been better off for it. But that complaint aside, I'll admit that I'm intrigued by the story, and I applaud DC for putting out a risky series like this, with no connections like DC, like Batman or Superman or anything like that. That makes this a risk. The character doesn't even appear to have any superpowers. But I do feel like when you see articles like the newest DC superhero is a girl of color from Oregon, those tags and stuff like that, the race isn't even mentioned in this book. And truthfully, if she was white, Indian, Chinese, or anything like that, it would have been the same story. It's just like with Marvel and Into the Spider-Verse. People were making a big deal about Miles being Latino, and it's cool from a perspective of representation, but it bears no weight to the story. It's just this character's black. It's not a big deal, and actually, really, we should be kind of past this in our society. And I wish that race was more normalized instead of being like something that we're like making a big deal out of. I understand the past, I understand the culture that we live in now, but really, I don't want to be the magical Negro, and I don't want to be seen as being special or other because I'm black, because it makes me feel like I'm used as a prop, when actually I'm just a person with same interests that you have, or maybe interests that you may not have. I may have totally different opinions about stuff. But that's neither here nor there. That's me going on a rant about stuff that really has nothing to do with this book. This book itself is great. I'm excited to see where the story goes. And hopefully Bendis can keep the decompression of this series under control to where the audience doesn't lose interest mid-story. If you enjoy my review, you can check me out before I go any further. The rating for this book, on a scale of A through F, I gave Naomi #1 a B+. It's not perfect. If Naomi would have had 3 or 4 more pages, like I stated before, I could have easily gave it an A or A+. The art is top notch. You can buy this book for the art and feel happy about it. If you want to follow me or you want to check out more reviews, I usually do 1 or 2 a week. I haven't really got a regular schedule, but you can subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notifications, that's what they say now. Or you can follow me on Facebook. I upload to YouTube and to Facebook. Or you can follow me on my social channels at Jamal is Trash, and that's Twitter, Tumblr, and Twitter, Tumblr, and Facebook. Or you can subscribe to my blog. That's where I do all my written reviews. That's at gtmediareviews.com. I appreciate you stopping by, and have a great evening. We'll have another review probably posted tomorrow or Sunday.